Hello and welcome to the podcast series entitled In the Footsteps of St. Francis de Sales. My name is Father John O'Neill and I'm an oblate of St. Francis de Sales. It is my pleasure to be your host as we journey in the footsteps of this great saint. In this podcast we will focus on the Church of St. Maurice, which played a significant role in the life of St. Francis both personally and as bishop. The Church of St. Maurice is very readily found on the Place Saint-Maurice, very near to where the River Thiou flows into the canals of Annecy from the lake of the same name. The picture of the church itself can be found on the website of the Diocese of Annecy and points not only to the beauty of the edifice itself, but to its sheer size. The historical importance of this church in Salesian history is that it was here that St. Francis received his first communion, and much later as bishop, he would teach catechism to the children of the region. Francis also preached here on a number of occasions. As we step inside the church and take in its broad interior, it is helpful to know that the original church was constructed as a chapel in the 15th century under the direction of the order of preachers, commonly referred to as the Dominicans. In 1803, the church was expanded and made a parish of the Diocese of Annecy. It was at that time that the church was renamed Saint Maurice, who was the patron saint of both Annecy and of Savoy. Pictured in the podcast and joining me on the tour of Annecy this day is my good friend Father Maurice Riguet, OSFS, a former provincial of the Oblates of St. Francis de Sales in France, a native son of Annecy, and presently serving in the Oblate missions in Benin, West Africa. Father Riguet indicated that the original church building consisted only of what is now the relatively small nave located on the right side of the church, where the altar to Our Lady and St. Dominic is located. In the 19th century, the church was expanded to its present size and was dedicated to St. Maurice, whose altar is located in the nave on the opposite side of the church, or the left-hand side as you face the altar. As you proceed up the center aisle, please note the 16th century painting in an alcove on the right-hand side, depicting the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary with two saints. The saint on the left appears to be a cardinal. At the time of my visit to the church, it was undergoing substantial renovations. However, virtually all the works of art were still present. Please take a moment to view the beautiful stained glass windows behind the altar, as well as the magnificent pulpit in the main nave of the church, carved exquisitely, as well as some of the marvelous statues located throughout the church. Father Riguet mentioned that he believes that the statue depicting an elderly female saint is most probably that of St. Anne, the mother of the Virgin Mary. You can also note stained glass windows of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, St. Francis de Sales, and an unknown bishop. Before leaving the church, be sure to stop at the altar on the left side nave dedicated to St. Maurice. St. Maurice, as was mentioned, is the patron of the region of Savoy, which is the area of what is now southeastern France, and where the city of Annecy is located. St. Maurice was a late 3rd century or early 4th century leader of a Roman legion from Thebes and Egypt. The legion was made up entirely of Christians, and they were given orders by Emperor Maximian to persecute the Christians in the area. Maurice and his total legion of some 6,600 soldiers refused to obey the order and were martyred for their insubordination. The scene of the martyrdom took place in the valley of what is now known as Saint-Maurice-en-Valais, nearby in Switzerland. The lower portion of the altar depicts 3 scenes from the martyrdom of St. Maurice and his fellow Roman soldiers. This concludes our brief visit to the Church of St. Maurice. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you will continue your journey in the footsteps of St. Francis de Sales, both historically and spiritually. If you have the time and interest, you may wish to proceed to the nearby Church of St. Francis de Sales for a brief visit using another of the podcasts in this series. Thank you very much.